Hello lovely people, my name is Emma and today I'm going to be talking to you about some of my favourite historical TV shows, movies and a musical. So the History Challenge is upon us fairly soon. This is a non-fiction history focused readathon that lasts for the last few weeks of August, and last year I hosted it and I did a video that was about history podcasts, which I will link down below, that I really enjoyed doing, and this year I wanted to include another video that wasn't just about books. So this year we're doing TV shows, movies and what musical. That really runs off the tongue nicely, basically because history is such a broad area and sometimes it can be really difficult to pick something that you really want to fully commit to an entire book's worth of content to read. And I do think that TV shows and movies are a great way of kind of getting to experience different areas of history. You get kind of some of the immersion. I know there's a lot of controversy about how accurate some costumes are, but I really enjoy them, and it's definitely a subgenre of TV that I personally like to watch. I'd say a lot of in comparison to how much TV I watch in other areas. So these are just a few out there. You'll have heard of probably all of them, but I enjoyed them. So the first one I want to talk about is a TV show that is on Netflix hopefully still, and that is Reign, and this is specifically looking at Mary Queen of Scots and being married to Louis I can't remember what number he was, one of the Louis, and basically is looking at the time of sort of early Tudors and the interactions between her and Elizabeth I, and Mary's kind of squirreled away, and it's about their arranged marriage with Louis and sort of their relationship. It is not the most historically accurate when it comes to kind of costuming and setting and things like that. It definitely is like historical meets a little bit of the department of like Zara or H&M, but I really enjoyed the TV show. I thought it was so fun and entertaining. I loved some of the scenes. It's proper raunchy in places, which is so great, and I think I watched the first 3 seasons, so definitely go check that one out. Really entertaining, some fantastic acting. A movie that most people have heard of but I think is really enjoyable is The Imitation Game. This is particularly looking at the life of Alan Turing and his work helping in Bletchley to break the Enigma code, which then led on to some of the first computers. I think it is fantastic. I think Benedict Cumberbatch is amazing in it. I think Keira Knightley is fantastic. She features heavily on this list. We love a bit of Keira Knightley, and I do think it's a really interesting look at a different area of World War II, and sort of also within it, because Alan Turing was gay and he was chemically castrated when being gay was illegal in the UK. It is also an interesting look at kind of the history of LGBTQ rights and sort of a social movement there as well. So you do get a double whammy. The next one I want to talk about is, like I said, we're going to go on a mild Keira Knightley kick here, and that is Atonement. Now, Atonement featured as a fantastic book on my World War II books video that I put out recently. Please do go check that out. Cards down below, you know the drill. But I do think that the movie is absolutely stunning. It is so well done, it is so beautiful, and it makes total sense because Ian McEwan's writing is incredibly atmospheric and lyrical and really focuses on description, so it makes sense that it just lends itself so well to the screen. I think it's an incredibly accurate kind of book to film adaptation, and it has the iconic green dress from the iconic library scene, and also Robbie's time in Dunkirk and kind of coming out to the beaches is just such a fantastic scene as well. So yeah, would really recommend. It totally stands the test of time. Another Keira Knightley fantastic one is The Duchess. This is looking at the life of an English aristocrat called Georgiana Cavendish, who is the Duchess of Devonshire. It's an 18th century, and it is about her life, her relationship with her husband and his kind of affairs, the quest to get a male heir, and then her own torrid love affairs. It is just heartbreaking. I love the film. I think it's absolutely stunning, and yeah, it's just a really sad love story kind of in its own right, and just absolutely stunning. The next one I wanted to recommend is Dunkirk, which is by Christopher Nolan, I believe, and I think this is a fantastic World War II film, specifically looking at Dunkirk and the kind of efforts of the British public to get the soldiers off of Dunkirk. It's got Harry Styles in it, it's got Tom Hardy. It is amazing. It plays around with timeline, it plays around with some really cool like sound work that it does. I watched it recently, or I watched it in cinema, but then I rewatched it recently, and I do think it definitely holds up. I know Christopher Nolan, people kind of have a love-hate relationship with him. He's a little bit like Marmite, but I personally think it's a really great film, and it is so clever with how it does the different timelines and how the shots kind of come together. So yeah, absolutely wonderful. A BBC miniseries that I believe you can still get a hold of is Desperate Romantics. This is about art history, and it's focused on the pre-RAF Free-Raphaelite Brotherhood and all of their fun antics that they got up to. And there is a book that goes with it, which is by the same title by Franny Moyle, that I read last year or the year before for Non-Fiction November, and would totally recommend as well. It's fantastic. The Free-Raphaelite Brotherhood were a band of artists and poets who were incredibly influential in their time, and it's kind of tracking their rise to fame and sort of them desperately trying to get critical acclaim for their art, the attention of John Ruskin, and also all of the torrid love affairs that they had. They really were some of like the first early celebrities and very much kind of the rock stars of their day, and they were sleeping with each other's wives all over the place and generally being horrendous human beings, and it's wonderful. I really just enjoyed the series so much. It's got some absolutely gorgeous people in it, and it's so pretty and really brings their art to life, I think. The final movie I wanted to mention is the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. I watched this very recently, then immediately went and read the book and did not actually enjoy the book that much. I think the movie's actually a lot better, and it is about a young writer who ends up going to Guernsey to meet with a group of people who formed a a reading society, a literary society, during the time of the German occupation, because a lot of the islands, especially between the UK and France, were occupied by the Germans, were some of the last territories that we actually ended up kind of reclaiming back. We very much focused on getting France first. So what was it like to be a Briton who was actually living under German occupation, and sort of how did that impact? It's a romance story at its heart, and I really enjoyed it. I think the characters are beautiful, and like I say, I actually preferred the movie to the book. I think that the movie was smarter with how it played around with some of its characters and kind of the connections that it made. It whittled down some of the character lists, and it was just a lot more emotive, and I felt like the relationship built up a little bit better. The book felt very rushed, and there just wasn't enough yearning for me. If we're going to have a historical romance, I want them to yearn for each other intensely before anything happens. So yeah, really recommended that one. Now we come to my musical, and I know what you're thinking, Emma, you're going to mention Hamilton. I'm not. Hamilton is great. Go watch it on Disney+. It's amazing. It's about the American Revolution. You probably know that already. But the one that I actually wanted to mention is another fantastic history-based musical that not enough people know about, is Six. This one, I don't believe you can actually watch it anywhere, but I do know that the soundtrack is on Spotify, and I suggest you go listen to it immediately. And it is about the 6 wives of Henry VIII. It's about them reclaiming their story and getting opportunity to tell what happened from their side. It is fantastic. It is filled with so many really interesting historical facts. It's got an amazing soundtrack. The women are great. Definitely go check it out. It's the best. It makes me so happy. So there you have it. These are some of my favorite kind of more recently watched history content in general on the screen. If you do have any recommendations, please do leave them down below. I know that there is a lot out there. There's Bridgerton recently was very popular. There's a whole bunch on Netflix. I guess technically The Crown would count. I don't want to watch The Crown. I feel like it's weird. And just there's a lot out there. So obviously anything Keira Knightley's ever been in, pretty much. But yeah, so do let me know in the comments down below, where do you think I should go to next? And have you watched any of these? Do you enjoy them? Have a wonderful reading week, and I will chat to you soon. Bye!